What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Saint Sumo Talks. Today, we're going to be talking about a band called Tallah and their latest album, The Generation of Danger. So, Tallah is a metal band out of Pennsylvania, and they are self-described as new metalcore, and they are crazy, just crazy. But I love it. Um, their first album that they released was called Matriphagy, and it's a conceptual album. The they have a video out there that was made by the band that details the story of the album, as well as the Generation of Danger. But there's a difference with the new album. So the Generation of Danger is not in chronological order. How the lead singer Justin Bonnets described it was he was given the tracks, but not in order in which they would be put in. So when he wrote the story, it ended up becoming a pick your own adventure, to where you could start at one point and it all makes sense, which it does. I've listened to it many different ways, and it all story-wise makes sense. But there is a chronological story that they have detailed, but they have not let us know which song is which. And I've looked on the internet, and I have not seen a video doing what I'm about to do right now. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and go into the chronological order of the Generation of Danger. So, first we're going to go through the story of the Generation of Danger. But because they do have a full video detailing the story, I'm just going to do a quick breeze through. So, the scientist Dicker Addison is a genius, and he creates something, a scientific advancement that he doesn't get credit for, once again, because of the company he works for. And after finally having it, he decides to take all of the board members and create them into these scientific abominations of morphing man and animal. And he goes through and starts building his lab in secret so that he can undertake these, scientific endeavors, if you would call it. So, the first person he tries is a man by the name of Quentin Toffer, and he gets turned into a fish. But Dicker's messed up during the initial phase of the experiment with a chemical that was needed, and Quentin ended up losing consciousness during the experiment, which caused it to fail, and he had to get rid of the experiment. After that, he goes to do Basil Sherman, and he turns him into a dog. Then he goes to Marissa Bailey and turns her into a horse. And then he turns William Fowle into a bunny. After that, he is being called out in the media as a murderer and not a scientist. So he decides, you want to see a murderer, I'll show you a murderer. His next victim is Percival Vaughn, and he turns him into a frog, pushes him in front of a truck. So after that, Dicker's old assistant, back when he worked at the company, finds him and tries to talk him out of what he's doing, but instead, he catches himself becoming the next experiment. This actually starts the downfall of Dicker's, and he decides to go balls to the wall and heads to the company to turn Marissa Bailey, or to turn Piper Huxley into a bird, and then kidnapping Morton Fraser, the head. and of course, turning him into a big, filthy pig. It ends with Dicker's lab being, seized upon by the government and him running away with no one knows what's happened next. So now we're going to go ahead and go through the track list, and we're going to place where each song goes in the story. So there are 13 songs in this album, so we'll, rank them 1 and 13 in order of chronology. First, we got Mud Castle. So Mud Castle is in the same vein of Metriphagy's Redacted, the beginning of the album, yet the end of the story. Mud Castle is when Dickers is running away down the streets, running from the police. So, we can go ahead and definitively take Mud Castle and put it at 13th for the end of the story. Next, we have The Hard Reset. So, with some vocal, all the information I've gotten from this is from the game that they had released online, from the songs and the music videos and the lyrics, and I could be wrong with all this. I could be dead wrong, but so the Hard Reset, in my mind, is the experiment with the dog, which is Basil Sherman, which, he turns him into a dog and releases him or he ties him up in a dog park to be found. Brutal stuff. And this song is really fucking cool. All the songs in this album are really cool. This album is so great to listen to. Just if you like metal, this album's an experience. We can go ahead and put the Hard Reset at number 4. The next song we have is Stomping Grounds, which is one of my favorites. This one is about the horse experiment of Marissa Bailey. And this one comes in at number 5, right after the Hard Reset. So the Hard Reset and Stomping Grounds, they are correct in what they're placed. They're just not in the right spot. The next song is The Impressionist, which is a really fun song. If I remember, they released Telescope and The Impressionist, and then they released Shaken Not Stirred and then For the Recognition as the singles for the album. Impressionist, for me, is the beginning of the story. It is where he decides, I'm done being taken advantage of, and I'm going to get my revenge on these people, no matter what happens. And it's just a really fun song, and I think that it was a great choice for a single. And the music video is so cool. So we can go ahead and put, of course, The Impressionist at number 1, the beginning of our story. After that, we have Shaken Not Stirred, my personal favorite of the album. I love this song so much. I think it has so many beautiful parts. This is the first experiment, the failed fish experiment, and you could really tell that in those vocals. So this comes in right after The Impressionist. This is number 2. You know, this is when he first does his experiment. So after Shaken Not Stirred, we have For the Recognition. And when you feel like the sky is collapsing, you can't believe it, it's only on you. That doesn't make sense. Why would I get away? Why would I make you evolve? Which is the experiment of William Fowl, who, you know, he's a little bunny. He hops on every successful project. You know, he turns him into a bunny. But with this song, it comes in right after Stomping Grounds. You know, Hard Reset, Stomping Grounds, For the Recognition. All 3 of those experiments happen back to back. So then we go to the next song, Of Nothing. When talking about this album, the vocalist Justin Bonnet said he blew his voice out doing this song because he wanted it that way. He wanted this song to have that message to it. And it really makes sense in where I put it in this. So I believe that this song Of Nothing is right after Shaken Not Stirred, after he's failed. You know, him kind of lamenting on himself and realizing where he's messing up and how he needs to fix it, or else he's screwed. So this comes in at number 3. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So after we have Of Nothing, we have Digger's Done. This is when, you know, he's done messing around. They want to call him a murderer. He's going to be a murderer. And this is the murder of Percival Vaughn, where he turns him into a frog. Throws him in front of a truck. So this song comes right after For the Recognition. It's number 7. After that, we have Telescope. is what I believe is Windred finding Dickers. You know, him trying to talk him out of it, and Dickers trying to convince him to join him. So, of course, Telescope comes right after Dickers done, and the timeline comes in at number 8. So, pretty much the end of the album is in order. It'll go Windred, Headfirst, Thistle, and How Long will round out the end of our story. I'm going to go through and, tell you a little bit just because they're all 4 great songs.
I'm just unplugging the wall like an electrical storm. I'll search till I blow out your circuits if that's the price to pay. Baby green and remember my misery. I'm living on the cemetery schedule. I've been up all night writing obituaries, hands like a devil, speaking in riddles, bed cracks and leaks ink all over the table.
So with Windred, that is the experiment on Windred that leads to the downfall of Dickers. So then he heads to the company and turns poor Piper Huxley into a bird and throws her off the top of the building so she could fly with the pigeons. I'd say my top 3 on this album are Shaken Not Stirred, Headfirst, and Stomping Grounds. Those are my 3 favorite songs. For the Recognition's right up there too, but those 3, there's lines in those songs that just get me.
You wanna die? Headfirst to no end at all. Ain't no one to see a perfect choice. The day's the day that you'll be granted one wish. You wanna fly? Life and you fly without pigeons. Not so long till your bird is a kingdom from the stubble shit. You make me break my
So after Headfirst, we have Thistle.
I guess I don't know who is to blame. What should I do? What should I do? It knows no pain. To the abyss went all of your dreams. You let them go. You let them be something else. Dissolved in the cesspit of your being.
The Pig Experiment on Morton Fraser. And then finally, we have How Long, which is his last lament as he's trying to set up his lab and escape with everything he needs after fully coming to the realization of his plan. Where does he go from here? How long does he have?
Life away. How long till we can be ourselves? How long till we believe again? Be my muse tonight. Be my muse tonight. Be my muse.
So all in all, this album tells a really cool story that, in their own words, was inspired by the island of Dr. Moreau, which I found out about as a kid from the Simpsons episode where Dr. Hibbert turns everybody into animals. But when I first heard this album, I thought it was so cool how it really does put into frame of reference, like, somebody losing their mind over this. Somebody working so hard on something just to have it ripped away over and over and over again and never getting the recognition. Like, some of the lyrics in this album really hit home. And that's completely due to Justin Bonnets. Justin Bonnets is one of the greatest vocalists I've seen in a long time. And the way he's described it is you could look at each song individually and get a story from it that is not the story that they're telling when it comes to the generation of danger. It you could look at a song without thinking, oh, this tells a story of a scientist turning people into monsters. No, you could look at it as a song of doing better, finding better within yourself, or, fixing your mistakes, recognizing the faults in someone else. A whole bunch of different ideas can pop up from listening to something like this. It's not just going to give you a concept and that's it. It's giving you a concept and then it's giving you more to play with. And I love that from a video like this. And I love that. So, anyway, I feel that this track list right here is the chronological order of the Generation of Danger. We have The Impressionist, Shaken Not Stirred, Of Nothing, The Hard Reset, Stomping Grounds, For the Recognition, Dicker's Done, Telescope, Windred, Headfirst, Thistle, How Long, and Mud Castle. If you guys have any differing ideas, if you have any information that might challenge any of this, or just anything to add, just go ahead and leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and share. If you guys want to send this out to Tallah, and I'd love to have some input from them, because I know, of course they're gonna know what's right and wrong. But thanks for stopping in and listening to this video. Of course, go and listen to Tallah. Go and stream some of their music. Go watch their music videos. They're really creative and they're really fun. But that's all from me. You guys have a great day.
Guess I don't know who's to blame. What should I do? What should I do? It's no you'll let him go. You'll let him be something else. Dissolve in the cesspit of your